Hello, everyone. So I'm going to quickly show you some things in Photoshop. So what you're going to do, we are continuing on our activity that we did last week, and you are going to do all of the steps that we did in class. So I went ahead and did yellow, so you'll make sure that you have your yellow background. And what I did is in the same Photoshop file, I created a group. And so this one would be called red, and you're going to find a red image. So in here, I'm going to make sure that I have 2 layers. I'm going to name this red background, and I'm going to make sure this is highlighted, and I'm going to hide yellow, and I would go back in and find something that's red. Red background. It has to have some sort of texture so that we can see it clearly. And make sure that you have your tool set with the large setting and you hover over it. This is a pretty big image. It's really, really big actually. So that is going to be very, 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 we're going to name it red background. Make sure you save it to the folder that you need it to find it easily. Go into File, Place Embedded, and you click the red background. All right, and you click and resize it. You can click Alt and then click one of the angled boxes, the diagonal boxes, and click and drag. If it looks pixelated, once you hit enter, it should be okay. This actually doesn't look too good. I think it's probably too small because it's such a big photo. So we're going to go with a different option. We're going to click delete. And let's go with, that's still really huge. That's pretty huge too. 1920 by 1080, exactly on the money. So this should just come in. I'm going to name this red background. And I already have that name, so I'm going to click replace, file, make sure Photoshop is selected, file, place embedded, and red background, place, and it comes in perfectly. If it doesn't, you can always hold down Alt, click and drag to resize it, and click enter. And for some reason, this just overrode all of the layers that I created, so that's great. So we're going to create another layer, and we're going to name this red background again. And we're going to do the same step where we click our type tool, and I'm going to click red. Now I'm going to get the spinning wheel of death. No big deal. So I'm not trying to hurry at all. All right, I don't like that text, so I'm going to choose a different one. And I'm going to go more bold with this one. And remember, you can always resize it by going in your character window, or you can click Command T and you can resize it. Make sure it's in the middle and it's taking up most of your canvas. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my layers panel. I'm going to click and drag that under the background layer. And I'm going to make sure this is highlighted. And then I'm going to hover over the red and click Command and click on that T to activate the walking ants. Okay, now I'm going to go down and add a layer mask. Woohoo! All right. So as you notice, there's nothing in our red background. So I'm going to choose our color picker and I'm going to choose a red color somewhere in there. I'm going to choose that bright one. And I'm going to click our paint bucket tool, which is also G on the keyboard. And I'm going to make sure that this red background is selected, and I'm going to click in there. And I'm just going to say that that's pretty great for right now. Now I still have this text layer. If I wanted to create a nice jazzy background, make sure your move tool is, or drop shadow, I can do so. And I can move it around by using my move cursors or my up and down, left and right buttons on the keyboard. And I'm going to make sure that it is not yellow. So I can select my type tool and I can highlight it. So double click on over that text layer. The reason why it's not doing any of this because it's a layer mask, but I can still alter this if I wanted to. So I can do that, and I can, you can go to swatches, and they have all of these different ones. And I'm going to, you can hover over a darker color. I'm going to go with black, and I'm going to click my move tool to just say, okay, I'm good. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to export and export as, make sure that it's a JPEG. And when we click export, we're going to rename it to red. And save it, make sure it saves to the folder. And what we're going to do is we are going to, I have come over here and I have created another Photoshop file. You're going to make sure that you do red, blue, yellow, orange, purple, and green. Okay, so you'll have 6 colors. And once you do, you are going to open up a new project file and you are going to name it username _ color practice 2. And when you create it, your canvas size is going to be 2160 pixels by 1920. Okay, 2160 by 1920. And then I've already added some in here, but what you'll do is you'll just go to File, Place Embedded, and you'll click your files. And they'll come in kind of big, and that's all right. You can resize them to be the same size as your others. Click Enter once you've got it, and you should be able to fit all 6 colors in here. So blue's a little bit off, and that's okay. So you should be able to fit all 6 of your colors in there, and once you have all 6 colors, you can click Export, Export As. You'll want a JPEG, and then you will rename this. Wow, there we go. Photoshop your username, and then _ Photoshop practice. No, we're just gonna say practice 3. Okay, and click Save. All right, and that is it. And then you will submit your image to Canvas. Yay!